And so I want to thank you to inviting me to your wonderful new space. This is really exciting. And at the end, I look forward to being able to tour it. And you know what? As life goes by, my tardiness, because things got confusing, just any thing that happens, we have to come to realize that an acceptance that it is what it is. And that's what the day's subject is about acceptance. Now, in unity, it's a beautiful and wonderful, affirming and positive religion. But in unity, sometimes we want to be so affirming and so positive, we go into our own form of denial. I'm not talking about the unity Fomorian denial. I'm talking about wanting to be so positive that we deny what the facts are in our lives. And so I'm here to not crush you from that. I think you should be positive. Just oh! Well, you especially, but that's another story, Tim. I've known Tim for a long time. I've had my eye on him. No, it's really about coming to a spot where you can be free. And free in any situation. And the only way you can really be free is when you accept the situation for what it is. It doesn't mean that you have to be negative about it, but it's about coming to the facts that it is what it is. Now, as the last time I was here some months ago, you all know also that I'm Buddhist, so I'm really about being in the moment, being here right now, which is in alignment with unity. But many of us have no problems being here right now. I'm sitting in my seat, I'm smiling, I'm listening to this woman, wondering where she's going to go with this conversation. We can be right here, right now. But can we accept what is happening to us here right now? That's the next step. Most of the time when we're in a situation, negative or positive, we move from right here, right now into action. And we never really think about absorbing, accepting it. Even when it's a good thing. We're more apt to absorb it, yes, but it's usually later. Say by chance, all of us won $1,000. The first thing we do is, yeah, woohoo, yeah, Martha, I agree, woohoo. And I can hear you going, oh, Crystal, yeah, I'll accept that $1,000. Oh, yeah, I'll be grateful for it. I'll thank God. What do you mean I won't be here? No, you'll be so excited that you'll want to move into action. How actually are you present with that $1,000? Are you, I got it and I'm gone? Or are you really here going, wow, in my hand, going into my bank account, is this $1,000. And really feeling it, making it palpable, enjoying it in that moment, being in awe of it before going into action. And I understand that you want to go into action quick, because if you're like my bank account, the money needs to go in and it's spent already. But yeah, why jump to that? At some point in time, usually when it's positive though, we'll come to it. We'll sit down in our chairs, we'll be in our home, we'll breathe and go, wow, that really happened. Oh, wow. At some point in time with the positive, we get there much quicker. But it's with the negative situations of perceived, oh great, negativity. It is with the perceived negativity in which we choose to ignore things. I'm not touching that thing. Oh, maybe I should have picked a different title rather than It Is What It Is, because I can see it's going to be a fun talk already. Even with the negativity, it is so hard to come to a realization of the situation. Again, in unity, we don't want to think about the negative. We don't want to think, oh my God, something serious has happened. We jump to a different kind of denial, and we use it in the not proper way. So many times in unity, we think that denials and affirmations is denying that something is really happening. I have 104 fever, but I am not sick. I stubbed my toe, but it does not hurt. Wow, I accidentally spent $1,000 on something I wasn't supposed to, and I don't have the money in the bank to pay my bills. Those are facts. You can go, Oh, no, no, no. Spirit will lovingly prosper me. The money's in my bank now. You can keep doing that. And sometimes, like, I don't know, Tabitha and Bewitched, you can wiggle your nose and somehow magically it'll appear. But the reality is, just like a 12-step program, until we realize our situation, until we focus on what that situation is and accept it for what it is, we really can't move forward appropriately. Oh, we go into action, but usually that action is based on fear. The beauty of the acceptance model is that, say that you are ill. Many of us have had an ailment. And if it's, say, God forbid, terminal, of course you're going to go into fear. Of course you're going to do that. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying don't get stuck there. Out of that fear of, oh my God, I've just received this report, go into, okay, I've just been told this. And accept it. Accept the news. Not necessarily accept the diagnosis, but accept what is said. Hear it. Accept it. Because in a weird way, once you do it, you'll come to a magical peace. Far too often when we hear bad news, we go into a fear, we go into a panic, we go into a denial, we go into a run. We go to a fight and flight, even without being able to accurately do anything. Yes, we hear the doctors tell us what we're supposed to do. Yes, we're doing all this in such a frantic and in such a panic that we are just always chasing something, and we're never free. We're always locked up, bound up, and just in fear until we get so tired of being bound up and in fear and chasing something that what do? We just break down. We break down and we open our arms and go, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All I can do is pray. All I can do is give it to God. And I'm telling you, there's a different way to go other than going through that. If you choose to go through that, I'm not saying that you can do that, but I'm saying there's a different way. I am saying that there's a space where you can go, okay, I hear this news, and I accept the news. You accept it from not a fear, but from a place of peace. And it's from that place of peace that you can hear more clearly what the doctors are telling you. And most important, you can hear more clearly what God is guiding you to do. See, the situation is God is always guiding us at all times. But anytime we are locked up and strained and in panic and fear, we don't hear that guidance. We don't hear the directions moving us and grooving us and allowing us to flow with the current. No. As soon as you hear that news, financial, health-wise, whatever the situation is, find yourself in a place of, all right, this is the news. I'm open to hearing what my next step is. There you will find freedom. A freedom from hindrance, a freedom from angst and anxiety. Not completely. There's some news that you will be, but there's still, even going through that, you're not operating out of a sense of fear. You then become operating out of a sense of empowerment. The quicker you can accept the news, all of a sudden you find that you have empowered yourself to move forward, to do what you need to do. And I'm not saying, and too many times we talk about acceptance as we accept that, say, I use the worst part, a terminal ailment, that I'm going to die. I'm not saying that you don't fight. I'm saying that you hear the news. Accept the news for right now so that you can then move forward with clear guidance as to what is yours to do. You can move with clear guidance then to know what you're fighting, how you can fight it, how you can stand strong with it, and not from a place of fear, because that fear will just feed into that situation. That fear will cripple you. But once you accept it, you then move forward with an empowerment of, no, I hear you. I understand the diagnosis. What are my options? No, this is the difference. You stand strong. No, I hear you. I understand. What do we do? From that, you hear God's guidance. And if you choose not to go there, I choose not to do that. I feel driven or moved to do something else. You are now empowered to take the reins with love, with wisdom. I know in the corporate world, it's funny, in our personal lives, we choose not to do this. Most of you who have heard me know that I was a vice president in an advertising agency. And so in corporate life, I had about 20 art directors under me and designers. In corporate life, it's easy to get to that acceptance, right? You know, when you have a multi-million-dollar project that's going through. I was in printing. I had a monthly magazine, so that meant that I had 4 to 5 magazines operating at a time. And one of the magazines might be ready to go to print. One might be at print, one might be prep for print. The other ones are in their various phases of design. And there were more than enough times when myself or one of my employees would be prepped for print. And there's a deadline right there. Usually if you have a monthly magazine, that deadline doesn't budge. So going to print and out the door is you can't break that. How many times, I can't tell you, that I'm prepping everything, it's supposed to be out in a couple days, that the client will call, usually it's a car company, I was from Detroit, Michigan, who says, we have this new product, and we want to get that new product in this one that's about to go to print. We're sending over the art, we're sending over the text, and it needs to go. Now, I could easily go, son of... And you can imagine the panic after 2 days. You're prepping, you're ready to go. You have other magazines that you're doing this to. And Lord knows I've done so much of the cursing and hurt my employees. But what does that really help? Doing that for about a good half an hour, I've lost an hour. I've lost time. And money is dripping away at that second. In business, we are able to, on a notice, all right, here's the situation, how do we move? Because that's the only way to success. When things change, how do you change with them? It's interesting we can do that in the corporate world for success, but in our own personal, private lives, we need to adapt that similar situation. When things change on a dime, how do we accept it and change with it? It reminds me of a story that I found about a woman who received this gift of a scarf. Beautiful, silk, expensive scarf that she loved. And some way, somehow, she got an ink spot on it. So the next day, she was having lunch with an artist friend, and she brought this scarf, and she was just so mad at herself, mad that she ruined this beautiful scarf, and she told this artist, I can't believe I did this. I cannot believe I did this thing. Look at this. This was beautiful. Now it's ruined. I'm just going to throw it away. I don't know what I'm going to tell my friend. It's just done. Just done. How many times have we been in that spot? This happened yesterday. She's still done. And our artist friend looks at it and says, well, if you're going to throw it away, may I have it? She's like, yeah, I'm just throwing it away, threw it at him. Still angry, holding on to it, and just throwing it all away. A couple weeks later, the artist friend calls her and says, I have something for you. Can we do lunch again? And so, of course, the woman says, sure. And so they eat, they talk, and the artist brings something out. He says, this is for you. And she looks at it, and she recognizes that it's the scarf. But he took that ink spot and with more ink drew lines until it became a beautiful picture. What was an accident now became even a scarf that was more beautiful, a one-of-a-kind piece of art that could never be bought. Here the artist saw the potentiality in the situation and changed it. Made it into something brand new. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what the news is, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is love where you are at. There is God right there with you, no matter what the situation is. No matter what the outcome you think it might be, God is there loving you and guiding you to greatness. So the question is, when you're going through no matter what the situation is, how do you get out of it? One of the things I love about Unity, besides being so wonderfully positive, is that we learn not to get stuck in that negative situation. We learn not to, that's the truth of what a denial is. It's not denying that the situation is happening. That's a fact. You can close your eyes, you can put your head in the sand as much as you want. That is a fact. The truth is, with a capital T, is that God's love is with you, providing you with everything you need to move out of the situation. So first of all, one of the tools that we have is an appropriate denial. And a denial, all a denial is that this might be happening, but it does not have power over me. One of the famous stories from Unity is our co-founder, Muldrow, who had a critical ailment, was told that she wasn't going to live past her middle ages. And I'll shorten the story. After coming from, she and the other co-founder, Charles, came from this lecture. Muldrow was changed. Charles, on the other hand, didn't get it. He didn't care. He didn't really think it was that good. But Muldrow, she grabbed onto something. And she grabbed onto the phrase, I am a child of God. I do not inherit ailment or sickness. I am a child of God. I do not inherit sickness. She grabbed a hold of that affirmation, and she did something else. Every day, a couple times a day, she would say that affirmation, but before she would say it, she would apologize to her body for accepting and agreeing with what the doctor said. She would apologize to each and every part of her bodies, her limbs, for calling it weak. She would apologize to whatever part of her body that she had damned. She would go and say, I apologize to you all. You were stronger than I gave you credit for. And I know now that I am, my body, me, I am a child of God. I do not inherit sickness. And for those of you who don't know the story, she healed thyself. Through denying the power that this ailment had over her body, she denied it and affirmed the truth, capital T, spiritual truth of it. That God is every part of her, in her, through her. And she started giving her bodies these words of truth and strength. She empowered herself to heal. You have the same ability. Muldrow is not any more special than any one of us, nor does she have any more power than we have. We all have the same amount of power because we all have the Christ within us, the indwelling within us at all times, the same amount, infinitely. And once we grab a hold of that, there's nothing that can stop us. Denials and affirmation are one. Prayer, meditation, when we find ourselves in that, oh my God, I can't believe this, I want to strangle someone. Yeah, I've been there too. I understand. Find a place. Even when I was in the corporate world and I had 15 to 20 art directors clamoring at me, there were times that I just had to get away. Shut the door. Come to a place of peace. It doesn't take that much time. You can take the time when life seems to be clamoring because you need to take that time for yourself to become clear. Get all the monkey chatter, get all the anger, get everything away from you. And the easiest form is just to breathe. I do that meditation a lot. I won't do it today, but I usually do a meditation where you just breathe in consciously, feeling the air coming into your body through your nose, past your sinus cavity, down your throat, your bronchioles, your lungs, all the way down to your diaphragm. Consciously feel it, and then breathe out. Feel all that negativity come out, all the heat from it come out of your mouth. And all you really need are 1, 2 minutes doing that. You have 1 or 2 minutes in this chaos to do that. Even when people are bamming on your door, don't. Just even say, give me 1 minute, I'll be right out. And just do that. Even the thought of it just calms you. And what that does is that allows you a space to hear God's guidance. I don't know about you, but for me, once I've cleared my mind, all of a sudden everything just kind of comes into sync. All of a sudden these ideas flood into me, the things I can do, and then the people that I can ask for assistance, all of a sudden all the answers start flooding in because I am no longer blocking it. I've come to a place in the center where I can hear everything, and then I can go into action. I've accepted the situation. If I find myself in that steam, I find myself ways in which to come out of it, prayer, meditation. Deny that it has no power over me. Allow myself the ability to move through the situation knowing that there's always an answer. God will provide you and is providing you with the answer each and every step. So I invite you, anytime you're in a situation, thing I always go to, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't change it. In this moment, you can't change it. You might have some things that you can do in the future, but while you're standing here right now, you can't change it. It is what it is. Accept it, and then move forward, empowered to know that you have everything within you. Just shift it for the future, shift it for your next now, so that all will be well. I invite you to breathe in the information, and now breathe out. Breathe it in, and breathe it out. I invite you to sit back in your chairs as we prepare for our meditation.